Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Say you know, I'll be honest. If you had asked a younger Lars if there would ever be a day where he was looking more forward towards watching random anime than watching like the newest Star Wars whatever, have been like no, no, that's not going to happen. Oh, the thumbnail isn't part of the thing. Yeah, no, you didn't add the thumbnail. It should be. I just got the notification for it. We are live. You didn't add the thumbnail. And Tevin Daniels as always is right there. It should be. I just got the notification for it. We are live with One Punch Man, the manga or the anime, or the or here's the crazy one right here. Am I caught up with the web series? I'm not caught up with the web series. Caught up with the manga. Caught up with the anime. Thumbnail. And man, you know, I'm just gonna say this. And Tevin Daniels is always is right there. Here, my answer to Tevin. I love One Punch Man. I think it's phenomenal. I think that the first season will like forever remain just with One Punch Man. The manga or the anime of just like this is what anime is possible of accomplishing, and the problem is that the second season did not have the crazy one right here, nor the I caught up with the web series to do what the first season did, and not caught up with the web series. Caught up is just really your audio is not coming through here. Oh boy. Well. The plight of starting up the live stream. I don't know, but while you're figuring this one out right here. So yeah, so Tevin, I'm caught up with, at least I know I'm caught up with the One Punch Man manga, and wow, the fight with. I mean, slight spoilers right here, but the fight with Garu, I love it. And here's the thing: I love a story of a villain being the one to climb the ranks to just become this awesome, overpowered individual. Audio is echoey. Oh, lovely. Interesting. Because I'm not hearing the echoey audio on my end. Weird. That's weird. It's just, and technical difficulties. Every, Everyone has them. But but yeah, no, I just coming back to it right there. I love Garu's adventure. I love characters who are just like, I'm gonna be evil and just go with it. I love his ambition of I'm going to become the most powerful villain. I'm going to remake the world, and not. And here's the thing, as opposed to like many other evil villains, where it's like I'm going to remake the world in my own image because I think I'm perfect. Garu's just all like, you know what, the world kind of sucks, and so if like we're going to accept that it sucks, and we're going to pull down the people who made it that way, and we're going to give it on over to another group who's been oppressed, the monsters, and we're going to let the monsters figure it out. I'm going to be the most powerful being, so that way things work out the way that I think that they should, which is just mostly empowering monsters to do their thing, but otherwise.
Yeah. Tevin,
Yeah.
can you hear Scott's voice? Can you hear my voice on there now?
the thing. I
Uh,
love a story of a villain being the
family.
one to climb the ranks
They
to
that
to just become
one of the
this. One of the crazy things with listening to the live stream is how it's significantly behind where we're actually are at in our
Right,
conversation.
right. Give me a sec, Lars. Just be
I can
quiet.
Scott, I can hear you.
You can
it's
hear me?
Scott,
just
you're there.
Yes,
Yeah, you're
finally.
there. You're
That
there
took
in the
some
stream.
work. That took some work. All right, here we go. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Oh man, Lars, you still there?
Still here?
Okay, sounds good. Should we get started
Yeah.
then? Well,
Yeah,
kinda.
let's get started. We've figured that out, and we'll just see who pops in and who doesn't. So yay!
Right, exactly. So,
Some good
welcome
fun.
to our
All
summer
right.
2022 pre-anime manga review. Kind of have to get it out today or soon before because a lot of these new anime are coming out start of July.
Are there any that are sneaking in next week?
I
I
don't.
mean, technically, yeah, July is next week, but like every now and then, there's like one or two that like sneak in right at the end of the previous season,
Yeah.
and you're just like, wait, what? That happened? Like, Love After World Domination was one of those where it's just like it just popped in like right at the end of winter. And it's
Oh
like, hi
yeah.
there, I'm getting started now.
All the ones that I'm seeing on my anime list are July within the first like 2 weeks. I'm
Okay.
not seeing any June quite yet. But there's some that start off like right at the start of July.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
seeing any.
All right. Okay, so I was wondering because again, like that happened this season, and I was just like, I wonder which show is going to jump the gun and
Right.
try to eat up that week where they can bask in the glory because no one else has shown anything. So,
Yeah, it's
all
just a
right,
mixed bag. But they all come out within like that first few weeks, first like 2 weeks of summer.
all right.
So that'll be good.
I mean, here where we're at, it already felt like summer for a few months. So,
Even though technically it's only been officially summer for like a day and a half now,
yeah,
which is
living
always
in the
fun.
Southwest.
Yep, always fun. Middle of summer, have to move across town, and you just have to deal with the heat.
Hmm.
Not all that fun, but that's what I've been doing last day or so, and I'm gonna have to go do more of that after I'm done. Um, but yeah, want to start with the returning anime.
Yeah, let's jump into that return in anime biz.
Which there's a lot of returning anime. Again, for those of you watching later or watching now, we're we don't talk about every anime that's coming out just because we just get lost in the weeds and this would take way too long. But there's a lot of returning anime
Hmm.
this season.
Yeah, it's rather impressive and crazy. I had students who were really excited uh uh for Overlord's
Oh,
return.
Overlord's super
One in
popular.
particular, yeah, one student in particular kept pestering me like almost every other day. So when do you think Overlord is going to come out? I'm like, I don't know.
Do your research. Go online. It's there available for you somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Overlord season 3? Yeah, I think season 3 is where we're doing cuz literally at the end of the last season, Overlord the Einzelgaun ended up taking over this one country and then
Hmm.
pretty much looks like they were setting their sights on the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's been set up since like episode 2.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it is where it's just like, yeah, so we're it's like we're going to claim this jewel box and like, oh boy.
Yep, sounds
And
about right.
I don't know if I've expressed it here. I don't know if I've expressed it live or anything like that before, but like I have a complicated relationship with Overlord. I like the idea and I like a lot of the characters,
Yeah.
but Overlord is one of the dangers of using OP characters, and that's something that
Yes.
as a writer who uses OP characters in a lot of my stories, like this is something that I have to be careful of. Is like, okay, balancing OP with everyone else. And I do believe that Overlord does a really great job of bringing in all of these other characters
Right.
with great personalities, lots of world building, uh, lots of really neat things are going on. Like I love that, but the problem is this: is that Ainz is just he's unbeatable. He is unbeatable. Like anyone who comes up with some sort of plan, like making Shaltir go against him, it's just
Mm-hmm.
all like when you realize like he's just like he's holding back. He's holding back because if he were to actually try, he
Right.
would kill one of his own servants.
They
And
never.
so, like when you realize that, it's like it's no longer any fun because you're like this guy. It doesn't matter what happens. He is going to win. It's just then the struggle doesn't become as much fun.
Yeah, exactly. And they never really gave us an actual answer for what happened with Shaltier in the end. And so I'm still waiting to hear back about that one.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, hey there, underrated games. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I've enjoyed watching it because you got a really fun cast of like different characters there. Yeah, underrated games. Yeah, Einzelgaun and Overlord. He's basically unbeatable. He's very. I don't know. I don't know a battle between him and Saitama. That would be interesting because
That,
Einzelgaun,
that would
he's
be
got like the
glorious.
overpowered magic, but like that physical aspect that Saitama has, that would be seriously interesting fight. I think Saitama could win, but I also could see Ainz winning if like the he's able to get the right stuff out at the right time. So that would be a
That
super interesting fight.
that would be a really interesting fight. I've been highly tempted. I don't know if I will ever do this, just because it would. There's certain stories, there's certain fan fictions that can get too meta, but I've really wanted I really wanted to like have fun with like a meta fan fiction pitting Saitama against other like
Oh,
really OP beings, because
right.
the idea behind Saitama is that he can beat anyone. He is so powerful that that he breaks whatever like is supposed to, like all the rules are broken. In season 1, there's the one psychic alien
Mm-hmm.
that he's just like that this alien's like gloating. It's like the only one who can beat me is Lord Boros, and Saitama just like walks out
Right.
of its control field and just punches
Yeah.
it.
I there is a little OVA that kind of shows his like training arc for him like training to become like the superhero and like how he loses his hair and all that kind of stuff. And the only thing it really explains is that like whenever he reaches a wall, he's just able to overcome it. And so even if he did fight somebody that's like as strong as him or like even stronger, I think it would just be that same exact thing where he would run into that wall. Is like, okay, I'm at this point. Let's get better. And then it would just wouldn't be a game anymore. Kind of idea. It would just get stronger and but
Yeah.
that's the thing. He doesn't want that. He just wants to be normal. He wants to like actually feel some fulfillment in his life and he just Ano's fully gold. Oh, underrated games. I'm just gonna say Ano's fully gold is underrated. Not, I'm not gonna say underrated because that's in your name. Uh, he's a lackluster copy of Einzelgaun from Overlord. Just watch Overlord. It's so much better. I'm just gonna say that.
Unfortunately, I can't can't contribute to answering that question because I do not know Anos Foldigold
It was
at all.
from we read that one for one of our previous episodes.
Did?
It was the one where the Demon King got bored, so he like reincarnated himself into the future. And it
Oh,
was
it's
like
that
super
one.
duper like easy, and like he goes up to fight against this
That's
royal
the
guy
one.
and like keeps resurrecting him after he kills
Yeah.
him over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'd completely forgotten that one. That's the one where he picks up the whole castle and just like tosses
Exactly. It was that one. I'm like,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was lazy writing, in my opinion. There was just like so much over the top stuff, and
Yeah.
it was very much the aspect of and then, and it just like trying to top itself the entire way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's so. I mean, oh man, we're getting off topic with this right
We
here. This
are.
definitely deserves like its own conversation. And I'm just going to say, like, when it comes to writing overpowered characters, and again, this is why I'm so conflicted with Overlord. It's because Ainz is a fantastically written, overpowered character. He honestly is because he's intelligent and his power is in his intelligence.
Right.
He only
exactly.
brings out his OP powers and his items when it's time for him to get serious or when he needs to like make sure that something happens exactly the way that he intended, because no matter how brilliant you are, something's always going to go wrong. And so that's what makes him such a fantastic villain and protagonist. He's a protagonistic villain. But then again, it's because he's so OP.
Right.
It all of the actions of the other characters doesn't matter. And I think one of the things is that I've brought this up before. A good OP character is someone who has to run into some sort of problem, whether that be
Yeah.
power or personal, where they come to realize that they are no longer as in control, or that their power has led them to do something or become something that is unacceptable to them, and it requires a change. Every character must be challenged on some sort of level.
Right.
If they can have that, then there's a real character arc. Otherwise, that OP character becomes a plot device.
Right.
And that's but like Anos Voldigoat is weird because he's the main character who's essentially a plot device.
Yeah, exactly.
so where's the character?
Right. Another one, which it's on this list of returning anime that I really like, because you end up with an OP character, but there's very like limited guidelines on when he's able to actually use those powers, is the Devil is a Part-Timer. Because you've got the main character who's basically the demon lord from this other world, and the only time he's able to actually use his like OP demon lord abilities is when there's like a lot of serious damage and destruction going on around in the area, and like everybody that's in that area is feeling all sorts of like depressed and like down on themselves and scared, and like all those negative emotions like pile up, and he's able to use them to go OP. But if he doesn't have that, he's basically just a regular guy. And it's very interesting because it's like, oh crap, all this crap, like crazy stuff is happening, and so it isn't until like the crazy stuff hits a certain level that he's actually able to able to respond properly to the threat that's being given. But I am excited to Devil's Part-Time. I know I was talking to you about it earlier, and I'm worried about the upcoming season for it because it is going to be adding basically the main character finds out he's got this secret kid that he didn't know about. Accelerator's OP character too.
I love Accelerator though, because Accelerator is a
Accelerator's
character
fun.
who realizes that his powers have screwed him up.
Exactly. But yeah, I am excited about Devil as a Part-Timer. I am worried about
love
the
this
lolly
season.
aspect that's going to be coming into it. Because of that secret daughter between the main character and who's the demon lord, and then the hero, both from that previous world. So that'll be interesting. We have another season of Don Machi coming in, which that'll be interesting. I am not caught up with that one. I think I'm still somewhere in the 4th season on that one.
A guilty pleasure show.
It's seriously a guilty pleasure show. I enjoy watching it, but like, it's also one I don't mention to most people.
Yeah, no, Bell is such a okay. Another little side tangent right here, but I promise we'll bring it right back. Right back. Bell, okay. I am positive that that Peter Grill was written to make fun of Don Machi, because Peter Grill is basically Bell, but if he acted like an actual guy,
exactly.
It's like, oh no, I'm in love with someone else.
Oh no,
this beautiful lady's right here in front of me. She obviously wants me. I'm just going to deal with the consequences when they come. Just sleeps with everyone.
The fact that we're having to use Peter Grill to like compare these two, I think it's hilarious. Oh, that's such a bad anime in its own right, but it's like, it knows it's bad. It knows what it's doing, and Don Machi's like taking itself serious.
And the manga takes it to the next level because the manga's even more self-aware.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I want Peter Grill to be redone. I want it to be redone with the same love and care as One Punch Man season 1.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, that would be so
good.
Bad.
It's so bad.
I love it. Oh, so let's move on to the next one. Rent a Girlfriend.
Rent a Girlfriend.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I'm excited
I do want to talk
a
little bit about Made in Abyss.
Okay.
But Rent a Girlfriend. Oh boy. This should be the season where we get the film festival.
I would be
that
so
is
happy.
The best
that
arc.
is the best part of the entire show. It falls off after that.
Oh, it does. Well, the crazy thing is this: you've kept up with the entire manga so far, right?
I'm quite a bit behind. Last I saw, the what's her name, Mommy. Yeah, Mommy was meeting with the grandma for some reason. I still haven't found out what exactly is going on there, so I'm way behind.
Oh, that whole thing. Oh my gosh, that goes off the rails in just all the wrong ways.
I mean,
it's so bad.
But that's why part of why we love Rent a Girlfriend in the first place, because it was like, it was this soap opera show. Everything was going wrong, but it was actually building up towards something. But like, if it's not actually building up towards something, I don't know.
It's a beautiful dumpster fire. Watching Rent a Girlfriend. Watching Rent a Girlfriend is how I feel Thomas Edison felt when he walked out and watched his warehouse burn down to the ground. Finally getting some progression again. But oh my gosh.
Right. Oh. Yeah, no, that one's a good one. Go ahead and talk about Made in Abyss. Because I haven't actually gotten into that.
Okay. I need to watch the OVAs. And here's the thing: if you are someone who watched Made in Abyss way back, and now you're like, oh wow, it's getting another season. Yeah, sure, I'll jump into it. You have to watch the OVAs. I have not yet watched them. This will make no sense unless you've watched the OVAs, because it gives us. It bridges seasons 1 and 2 because they meet a very, very important character. Lots of world building gets dropped, and season 2 is supposed to harken back some of the early explorers to the Abyss, who are again introduced in the OVAs. So you have to watch those. I'm gonna watch Made in Abyss. It's one that, like, I'm not someone who I feel squeamish watching watching blood and torture and violence. Oh boy, you really have to have a strong stomach for Made in Abyss
Okay.
because because it just watching these lolly characters just get brutalized
Oh no. Okay.
is just it
I'm
goes places.
I'm disturbed and curious at the same time, and it's not a good mix.
Here's the thing. Why I say, Scott, if you haven't watched the first season, watch the first few episodes because that's the most tame it gets, and
Oh
ask yourself
no.
if you can move on from there.
Oh no.
There, because you're gonna be all like, "Wow, this is so cute." Oh, that was horrifying, but then it gets cute again. Oh, that is messed up. Can't remember the name of the character, but the little rabbit girl that's in the bottom left-hand corner of the thumbnail,
Right.
she is one of the best characters.
Aw. That's nice.
Yeah.
We've got a few more.
Story is
Yeah.
incredibly sad.
So we've got a few more coming out. I did start Classroom of the Elite, but I never got very far in it. It was just a story type that I've seen in anime before that like wasn't all that interested in. But that was me personally. It didn't really catch my interest, even though I know like I've heard popular things about it, and it is getting a second season. So maybe I'll try it later.
Yeah.
Shadow's House. I love the concept of it. I just wasn't able to sit down and watch all of it.
Yeah, I wanted to watch that one as well, but that man, that season was weird because I just got so busy and
Right.
just dropped almost all the anime that I intended to watch. So if I'm going to watch season 2, I have to go back and binge season 1.
Right. And then one I'm actually excited about, but that's more of a nostalgia thing, is they're remaking an older anime called Tokyo Mew Mew. I think here in the States it was called Mew Mew Power, which, like, it was one of the first anime I was, like, when I first really started getting into anime, that was, like, on the TV that I could go down and watch, like, on the TV Saturday mornings. And so, like, I became obsessed with it at the time, but it's basically just your average magical girl kind of anime, but it has a lot to do with, like, aliens invading our world and using the powers derived from, like, endangered animals to fight them, but you find out the aliens aren't actually evil. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
There's just a lot happening.
There's just a lot happening. I mean, and that's the case with a lot of anime, honestly.
Stuff happens.
Like, there's just so much potential for, like, comedy and chaos and drama thrown into a lot of anime. It just makes it so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll have to. I'll see. See, I might make some time to sit down and watch it. Just to see what is done. And every now and then, like because they've definitely done some of these remakes before.
Right.
Like it's really interesting to kind of go back and see what the original was like, what the new one is like, and sometimes I would argue that the art quality of the original is better.
Yeah. Yeah, it can
Yeah,
be the
so we'll
case.
see. We'll see what this is like.
Right. I
Like
like the idea.
that was one of the.
Right. I like the
I know I'm
idea
going to
that...
bring this example up again. Sorry,
Right.
continue.
Okay. I like the idea that they're able to take everything that was in the story back in the past and, like, try to work to, like, streamline it a little bit, so it ends up coming, like, the purpose of the story and everything comes through clearer. I hope they don't streamline it too much, because, like, you end up missing out on a lot of the fun and, like, enjoyable parts of the series. I feel like they kind of missed out on that when they did the Sailor Moon remakes not too long ago. And it wasn't until they got to the third season that it was actually able to fix anything. like they were able to like get across a lot of the character of like the different characters and like add in like the necessary little bits of comedy and like heartwarming moments that the original had, kind of idea.
Yeah.
So, but shall we move on to the new stuff?
Yeah. Well, actually, before that,
Okay.
I'm going to bring this up again as an example for when we talk about Black Summoner.
Okay.
Is Fooly Cooly. Like my
Oh yeah.
fear, my fear with the remake for Tokyo Mew Mew is that like not even the basically the remake slash sequel to Fooly Cooly could live up to the original Fooly Cooly. And
well, that's
and like
a
that's
sequel
always
problem.
one of the dangers.
That's always a danger.
Well, that's a sequel problem, but like the second season was them basically saying we're going to remake season one,
Right.
and then so that way we can then transition over to what would be the actual spiritual successor for Fooly Cooly, which is season three.
Right.
Like it's just crashed and burned so hard. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll definitely see. All right, let's move on to the new anime for this season. So the first one on the list, which I think is going to be absolutely precious, is called The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. Which, like, it's so precious, but, like, you also have some, like, seriously dark stuff going on in the background. Because it ends up... because you've got this Yakuza guy who's basically the toughest guy in the outfit that is suddenly like tasked with taking care of the young daughter of the leader of the Yakuza. And so they're gonna end up like, and he has to take care of her, but like there's a lot of stuff going on in the background where like she's safe at the time, but he's got to go out and kill some people. And so, like, you've got this juxtaposed, like, really sweet, precious stuff going on, and then, like, a few pages down, or, like, the next minute or so in the show, he'll be beating somebody to death, basically. And so, it's interesting to watch. It seriously is. I think we need more of that, like, Yakuza baby telling. No, storytelling. Why did I say baby telling?
It all just came together.
Right, exactly. I think they need more of that in anime because it's a very popular, like, big part of Japanese storytelling, especially when you get to TV. It just, there's not much of it available in anime. And so when you start getting it in anime, it, like, starts getting better.
Like the Yakuza house husband.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of them. That one is hilarious.
So good. I love the live action. I showed part of the live action to my family, and
yeah,
busting a gut laughing. I mean, they hardly understood what was going on, but it was just so hilarious. And I have to agree with this one right here. The guide to babysitting is going to be. I think it's going to be a great. At least I hope. I hope that they strike the right balance between dark and precious. And one of the things that I love about it is how like he genuinely takes the job seriously. Like you think because of his attitude that he doesn't care, but he does care. He goes out of his way to try to like be the right kind of guardian to the girl.
Right.
Be there at school, but like the way that she feels comfortable with him being there.
Yeah.
And then like helping her to like reach out to her father, and like you can tell like her dad wants like father-daughter time, but his own life is so screwed up because he's super busy and he's the leader of the Yakuza.
Exactly.
that he's just that like living in both worlds is really bizarre, and I think that's one of the things that is really good about this is that it strikes that balance, at least the manga does, of what it's like to live in both worlds.
Right, exactly.
And yeah, I hope that comes through.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. Shall we move on to the one you're super excited about, Lars? Because it's got
let's
so much plot.
Oh, yes, the amount of plot in this one. And the crazy thing is that there is a large amount of plot. Vermile and Gold.
Vermile and Gold.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh,
so this one this one right here.
I love how we can't even start talking about it. We just got to get all the giggles out before we're actually able to talk about this one.
It's so dumb.
It is.
Okay, here's the plot. I'm going to be straight up honest. This one is so dumb. It's like
so
Rent a
insane.
Girlfriend where you can't look away. So we have our little beta boy in the middle, Alto, who oh my gosh, and why did they call him Alto? In any case, we got stupid little Alto who's just all like, he's like, I want to be the greatest wizard, like no one ever was.
He's not Alto anymore. It's gonna be Beta Boy from here on out. It doesn't matter.
It's
That's
Beta
what he
Boy.
is.
It's Beta Boy. So Beta Boy, in order to become the greatest wizard of all time, he needs to have a familiar. Can't get a familiar. And then so like and one of his professors is like, well, summon a demon then, like do something because you're not going to pass. So what does he do? He goes and he summons a demon, who then turns out to be this big busty succubus.
Exactly, and like honestly, that's about all you need to know because that's the entire story from there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that like it's so dumb, and yet like halfway through the stupidity of this story, you then realize there's actually like a really intense plot going on in the most recent manga chapter.
Yeah,
I was like, holy cow, I have not seen a plot twist in action like this since I read Bleach.
Right.
Like, I'll be honest, I was like, this was on Bleach level. Like, the mangaka, if he or she just would like study a little bit more in how to animate like full scenes of action, this would be a shonen battle series with a big busty succubus. It's like, that's what it could be, but half of it is going to be Beta Boy and Succubus basically having the most awkward lewd relationship of all time as they both slowly fall for each other, then everything is going to get cranked up to 11. A random scene that makes no sense, and from that point on, it's just all like battles and disgusting stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
With then Succubus like trying to like tell him like, you know what, we really need to have sex.
Which that happens.
So, well, it's unclear. It's actually like I went back and I was like, and the translator's note was like they say like, okay, translator's note, in this panel right here, the way that the mangaka artist has drawn this character is meant normally to convey that the female has just had sex. And like that's how everything is drawn and whatnot. But then later on, they have a conversation that then implies that they haven't had it. So you're just all like, you're like, oh, I know what this artist is doing. This artist is like freaking like using the plot of like evil wizards and whatnot, trying to unleash a horde of demons and everything like that to slowly build up for an excuse, because Beta Boy is Beta Boy and he needs a good excuse to get laid.
Oh, no. Please don't tell me this is going to be Sarah J. Maas all over again.
It's such a dumpster fire, and I have enjoyed every single moment of reading the manga.
Exactly.
It's so
bad. It's so bad. It's hilarious. Oh, this will be a fun one. I don't know. We'll see how popular it becomes, but I think there's going to be a lot of cultured people talking about this one.
I hope that Nux Taku
gets out of the whole
Nux
VTuber
Taku
scene. Getting into this one.
He needs to get out of the VTuber scene because he's been wrapped up in that for so long. He needs to come out of that, and just like what he did with Interspecies Reviewers, he needs to come and he needs to stand for Vermile and Gold.
Oh, that's hilarious. right.
Oh man, I would pay him. I would pay him money to do that.
That's hilarious. Oh, I love it. So let's move on to My Stepsister is My Ex-Girlfriend, which is another dumpster fire. That one was so painful to read. Like Vermel was actually funny, but like My Stepsister is My Ex-Girlfriend was just so bad. You're just like, no, I don't even want to read 5 chapters of this. Dang it.
Okay, so I read the 5 chapters, and then I jumped to the end
Okay.
because I was like, okay,
I'm
the
afraid
story
what this is going to
is
become.
either going. I was like, the story is either going to go like directions, kind of like with Domestic Girlfriend,
Right.
It was awful. So I was like, okay, is this going to become Domestic Girlfriend, or is this going to become like, or is this just going to become utter frustration? And it's like, there's no way that this can be resolved in a good way.
Right.
Just
exactly.
no way whatsoever. So I read ahead, and it's not Domestic Girlfriend. So it's not going to be
That's a
that
relief.
dumpster fire. It's just going to be pure and utter frustration because you have these 2 characters who are just like they can't get over each other. They don't like each other.
But they keep
And their
dragging
brother
it out. That sounds
sister,
absolutely painful to read.
yeah, and all their friends all figure this out.
Oh no.
And so their friends start encouraging them to get together. But because they're now step siblings, it's like yeah, I'm just like wow.
Wow.
I'm like no. I might watch an episode or 2 of this just so that way I can like get angry. Like if I need to like vent and just get angry at something, I might watch this. But it's oh my gosh, it's so dumb and it's just so frustrating. I was like, never mind. I can go on for the rest of my life without ever reading another chapter of this manga.
Exactly. Shall we move on to something better?
Oh yes, please.
So
please.
Next one on our list will be when will Ayumu make his move? Which this one calls back to kind of the setup for like Nagatoro and like Uzaki-chan and
Uzaki-chan.
Yeah.
It's made by the same mangaka who did Teasing Master.
That's it. Yeah.
What is it? Yeah. It's so eerily similar.
Yeah, exactly.
Except that except the mangaka's like, now I'm going to reverse the roles. It's not the girl teasing the boy, it's now the boy basically teasing the girl. But he's not going to be mean about it because he's just going to be so obsessed with playing the game, trying to like psych himself out to confess to her.
I mean, and I feel like it really has potential to really get better. I usually don't get into this kind of stuff in the first place. I usually revolve more around like fantasy and drama and stuff like that. But I feel like this one could be fun.
It is. I did like reading this manga.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. For anyone who's watching this, hoping for whatever reason that this is going to like blossom into a great romance by the end of the season, you're not going to get that. It takes like 150 chapters before the characters even like have an inkling that they both like each other. So yeah, this is a slow burn.
It's not one you read expecting any of the oinking and boinking you would in other series.
No, and the thing is that even though like these characters are actually way older than Teasing Master whatever, they're at
Takagi-san in middle school.
Takagi-san takes place in middle school, and this one takes place at the end of high school,
right?
At least for one of the characters. And so that's one of the, and so that will be that's something that would I think make people think that it would go to the oinking and boinking, but it's not going to because this mangaka likes their cinnamon rolls.
I love it. I love
Savor
it.
their cinnamon rolls. They will not partake of the cinnamon roll until the very end.
Oh, I love that.
I wish I could read Greek from underrated games. That this is one of the Greek series that I think
Okay.
falls in line with with my ex as my step.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Well, at least it's not a Japan thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Greeks also have it.
It's not Japan anymore. Don't have to worry about that one. All right. Let's move on to Call of the Night. I'm going to say this outright with this one. This is the manga or anime because somebody liked Himiko Toga from My Hero Academia so much that they wanted to give her her own anime. That's entirely what this is.
I thought that was just a joke.
I don't believe it's a joke.
Oh my gosh. I mean, for something where it's just like, I'm going to give Himiko Toga her own story, but as a vampire, suck.
I mean, that's basically what she was in My Hero.
Yeah. I'll say this. I like this one. I feel like this. I do feel like this is like, I know that Gigik was all like a 100% recommend. And I don't know if I would 100% recommend this one. I think that you have to be on a certain I think that you need to be on a certain personal level to really connect with this one, which is like, I think what I would say is the misunderstood loner.
Yeah,
Think
exactly.
that you like being a loner, but really you want to be around people because that's what this manga is all about.
Yeah, exactly. I like the inner meanings that they have with a lot of the characters, and the characters like respond well with each other. From what I've read till, I didn't really see any other characters other than the main two. So I don't know how like that ends up changing. But
There's a
going.
massive cast that comes later.
Oh really? Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, which is why I said that it's a story for people who think that they want to be alone, but really want to be around other people, and and because like other people from his world and her world all kind of come in and play a different role in helping these two just kind of cope with their situation.
Exactly. I love that.
Oh boy. Thank you, Ray Games, for sharing that
exactly
Greek story. Oh, I'm gonna copy that and hunt it down later just to watch for the kicks and giggles.
Oh, I have pictures
apparently
for all
it's
of
a full
these that I
toga
haven't been going through. So
manga.
The picture right now is the stepsister is my ex-girlfriend one. Then we got When Will Ayumu Fall in Love? Then you've got Call of the Night, which the girl there, she's the one that basically pretty much like Toga. Kind of like Toga. Maybe inspired by Toga, possibly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's definitely strong Toga vibes, and
yes.
I thought that, but
and
yeah,
then
no, I do enjoy Call of the Night.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next one is called, and we're starting all of our isekai stories. We've got 3 of them this time. These aren't terrible.
We're getting less isekai.
Yeah, we're getting less isekai. Well, I think there was more on the list. I was just trying to choose the best, like, mix of
potentially
different
best
stuff.
ones.
Yeah, potential best ones. Best ones that are going to be, like, fun to talk about or make fun of. But, like, I try to keep it down so we're not, like, talking forever about whatever. Yeah. But this one's called Isekai Uncle. And it is an entire spoof and parody of the isekai genre, and I love every minute of it.
What I enjoy about this one is that so when we say Isekai Uncle, one of the things that's made think it's like in chapter 2. It's either chapter 2 or chapter 3 where it's made very clear that the uncle, the reason why his story as an isekai protagonist is so utterly weird and bizarre is because he became an isekai protagonist before this generation's version of isekai became very popular.
And so
and that's what makes it.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
No, it ends up being a very how would I describe it? Very Dead Souls almost kind of isekai run. You know what I mean? Like, it's very grimdark and like things are going wrong, but like there's a lot of comedy involved because there's a lot of the modern isekai tropes going on, and he just doesn't understand any of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is like the uncle like had the if the uncle had been pulled into Escaflowne,
Yeah.
for instance, the uncle probably would have like fit in perfectly with
Exactly.
Escaflowne. Because like that fits the more serious
Right.
tone, and that's the thing is that like he understand. That's the weird thing is that the uncle understands to a degree that he's been isekai because isekais
Yeah.
existed long before Sword Art
yes.
Online changed the subgenre, and so which is now its own full blown genre. So like he understands this because he's a nerd, but it's as you said, it's playing out like a modern
Right.
isekai, which is grimdark, and I have to say I love the interactions that he has with the tsundere elf, and I love how his nephew realizes what's going on.
The nephew's like, wait,
and like,
Tsundere didn't exist. Like, the understanding of Tsundere didn't exist back then, so my uncle didn't know about it. And so he had this great person that he could have had a great relationship with that he just floundered completely.
And the crazy thing is like, I thought about that and I went back, for instance, like Escaflowne. I'm like, oh my gosh, there are tsundere characters. But yeah, they were just not treated
exactly
as such. The archetype existed, coined or outright called out. And so as such, it's interesting because early tsundere characters are utterly fascinating. And they're like the characters who I think, at least for myself, I ended up loving more as a viewer. And just feeling so bad for them because they never got their requited love. Right. And that's the thing is that nowadays, when a tsundere character shows up on the scene, we expect that the tsundere character has like a 50 to 70% chance of being the one to get the guy or the girl.
Yeah, exactly. I love
it's a complete switcheroo.
Right. I love a lot of the anime that came out like late 80s into the 90s because you end up with a lot of the tropes that you see nowadays like going into anime, but you see them like that's when they were first starting to like spread and they were trying to like get an understanding of them, but like they were hilarious and they were using them in like the best context in my opinion. I mean, not always, but a lot of the time it was in the best context, so you were getting these like new fresh like tropes, and then nowadays they're just kind of old and bored, if you know what I mean. And so I like seeing them when they were first coming out. Answer to underrated games. If a character from a magical land ends up in a normal world, it is a reverse isekai. The devil is a part-timer that I was talking about earlier in the episode, and it's one of the seasons that's returning. That is a reverse isekai.
And one of the interesting things, this is something that like I've told you, Scott, and I'm saying this again. Like I really want to do like a full in-depth 2-parter series. Might end up being longer of like looking at Portal Fantasy and its Japanese counterpart, which is isekai. The interesting thing is that Portal Fantasy has no problem pulling characters from a fictional world to our world, or from another world to our world. Portal Fantasy in the West has almost no limitations to it and almost no boundaries. Isekai, on the other hand, has written itself into into a very strange corner, in part because Sword Art Online was so successful and that the video game tropes then flooded the genre afterwards. And so isekai used to be like Western Portal Fantasy, but now Now, when you look at isekai, you actually have to be like, okay, this what we now call isekai, which is basically I'm stuck in another world that's a video game,
Mm-hmm.
or is this reverse isekai, or is this an isekai that bucks that bucks the video game trope?
Yeah, exactly.
And in which case, then people are like, oh, then it's Gate. It's like,
Oh yeah.
and it's not. Gate is
No.
its own thing.
Gate's its own thing. I really enjoyed Gate though. Let's move on to Alternate World Pharmacy. I actually really enjoyed this one because it's one of those where
Oh.
it bucks that video game stereotype, and then you
Yes.
end up having such a different interaction between the character, his role there, and what he's doing in that different new world than a whole lot of other isekai stories.
Absolutely a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
I thought that I was going to be in for another Dr. Stone telling that this character would just be all like, now I'm going to talk about these obscure ways in which we can use like regular little things to make something big happen. Which is a strength of the season 1 of Dr. Stone, and then gets very tedious in season 2.
Right.
And it's season 2. This bucks all of that. That you get the medical knowledge, but he doesn't go super intense, because that's the thing, is that the main character himself, he's a renowned he was a renowned doctor who was trying to fight cancer. He was on the cutting edge of cancer research, who worked himself to death. And so when we get to see him in this other world, he's given magic and blessings and the likes. It's implied that he's either the avatar or the reincarnation of a certain god.
Yeah.
And so the thing is this: he combines then magic with a general medical knowledge, and it doesn't then become overbearing at all. It's I was surprised at how well balanced
talk about these obscure ways
story was between its characters, its world building, the magic, and the medicine.
Right, exactly. And for a while there, I was thinking, oh, it's really just going to focus on him creating new medicines and helping people. But the actual mystical and magical parts of that world start showing up a lot more, and involving what he's doing and actually fighting against him, and it makes a really cool story. And he's got this whole doubts in his head. He's like, am I really this medicine god? How long do I actually have to be here to help people? And is this going to end well for me? Is this going to keep going? Am I going to be able to keep living in this family that I've made here? And it really makes an interesting character drama in that regard.
Yeah. And it's great.
Yeah, no, I really love it.
It's
a good one.
The trailer makes it look like this is going to be hypersexualized, and there's a certain part in the manga where his teacher, where you feel like his teacher is going to be all like, oh senpai, but that's never the case. There's blushing and whatnot, and because he's an older guy in a younger his body, he knows what's kind of going on in certain cases, but that's never the focal point. Instead, you have very respectful relationships.
Right, exactly.
Formed.
And I really enjoyed
and yeah, I really do like that. And another thing I like, this is as a history geek, this tickled me, was that we get to see very accurate depictions of a world basically entering its renaissance.
Yeah.
Where there is a little bit of a spoiler. There's definitely a Black Plague era coming, and so the Black Plague absolutely transformed Europe, and the manga deals with that. How do people who mix magic and medicine and superstition, how do you deal with an overwhelming force of just destructive disease?
Right, exactly.
What do you do? And they have mistakes. People die. People become irrational, and that was so good to read, because the MC he doesn't have it easy. does not have it easy. He has to make some very difficult decisions. He has to change. He has to overcome obstacles, and that's good. Very very good character progression.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that one. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely one I'm watching.
Underrated games. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Right here. So we see that you got to go. It's been it's been awesome. Have fun with that game of Monopoly. Woo boy.
Woo, yeah. All right, let's move on to let's move on to the other isekai and then move on to the last one. So our other isekai is called Black Summoner, which very
Oh,
stereotypical like fantasy isekai in my opinion. It has a lot of great like battle scenes and all that, and the main character being this battle junkie like kind of made a difference there, but yeah, very generic almost.
How far did you read into Black Summoner? Just
I've
wondering.
read
Just
all
five
96 chapters.
5 chapters.
No, 96
Oh
chapters.
my gosh.
I went all the way through just because I for the most part I like
Oh.
reading this stuff, but like it's nothing new.
You brave soul.
Yeah.
There's a part and I'm not going to spoil it, but I think Scott, you might realize it. There's a part very early on where one character throws herself at him.
Oh,
And I was just like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, look, like I'm a sucker for romance. I really am. But that was I was like,
That wasn't
this
handled right.
this is not sitting. This is not sitting well with me for a number of reasons. And one of the other things is that I came to realize something, and maybe this is just because like right now I've been editing my own books and like I've been revisiting certain characters. I realized that the main protagonist in Black Summoner is Gary if Gary was the main character.
Ooh,
And that made me
ouch.
very uncomfortable to
That's
realize.
yuck.
Because I'm like, wait, I'm like, wait a second, like this guy is a genuine scumbag, and I do feel like there's definitely there's definitely a market for these kinds of stories, especially in
Right.
Japan, where it's like where it's like you can indulge yourself in kind of like those darker desires and still be the
Yeah.
hero. But like, but I got to the point where I'm like, I can't continue on with this because it's not as bad as Redo of the Healer. Nowhere near as bad.
Yeah, it's hard to
I
beat
was
that one.
just like this, but I was like, this is basically a character who's getting away with being quote unquote the hero, even though he's
Yeah.
not necessarily a good person, simply because he's stronger than everyone else.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and and,
Oh,
I've come across those stories before. In Black Summoner, as you said, it's generic.
yeah.
It's
No,
not offering me anything new.
well,
So
and another thing that I'm seeing it being generic, and I've seen it in so many different ways, as as you end up because it's like a leveling fantasy. That's basically what it is. What a lot of isekai ends up being, and so every time you have a leveling fantasy, and like they keep like getting stronger and stronger and stronger, the forces you end up having to throw against them, and you keep having to up that ante over and over and over again, and it just doesn't work out all that well in my opinion. Because
mhm.
like at first he's like, oh, I gotta go fight these monsters, and then I gotta go dive into the dungeons, and then I gotta go like do my test to become a stronger adventurer, and then oh look, there's an evil kingdom that we have to fight, and then after that there's even somebody stronger, and it's just like, when does that stop? It basically
Yeah.
stops when somebody like either the big bag final guy dies or like the main hero dies, and that's about it. And like it's not even all that self-aware of it. Like, I mean, you get something like Gurren Lagann where like that knows that you just keep going farther and farther up, and it's very aware of
Mhm.
it. And then yeah, no, it welcome Max. Yeah, it's very much an Sao clone. It from like the character's description and like how he ends up fighting and all that kind of stuff. It's an Sao clone if anything. So yeah, that's seriously what it is.
Mhm.
So let's move on
Yeah.
to our last one, which is
Sorry,
called
Max. You just arrived.
You Just Arrived.
I'm so
We've
sorry.
been going at this for a little bit by now. But it will be this episode. If you want to go back and listen to a bunch of stuff, this will be available to watch as a video on our channel. So there shouldn't be any problem there. But yeah, we're going to turn over to Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Oh boy.
Which is quite the interesting name.
Yeah. So I brought up earlier, I brought Fooly Cooley, and I'm gonna bring this up again. This story right here, it's not Fooly Cooley.
No, it's not.
But my honest opinion is this: depending on how they handle this story, it could be like Fooly Cooley in the sense where it's just it bucks all pretense. It bucks all matter of logic, and it just basically says, either end this ride with us, or get off right now.
Right.
Because we're just going to go hard, and it's going to be nuts. And so, I think it's something that everyone should know before diving into this story, because if it holds true to the manga, that's what it's going to be like.
Right.
And I personally do enjoy that, but I know that's not for everyone.
Right. It definitely gave me the vibes, and I think it was written during that time of early 2000s anime. And just now that it's getting some sort of resurgence, I feel like it's, from what I'm seeing, I don't know for sure, but from what I'm seeing, it feels like it's been considered a classic in Japan for a while, and then suddenly had this huge resurgence and people pushing for it, and then you get all these fans in Japan, they're like, oh yeah, we're finally gonna get an anime, and nobody else around the world knows about this one.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it very feels like that early 2000 kind of anime, kind of manga that I've seen.
Yeah, and I like the art style. I really like the art style. Right here. I'm just gonna say, I can't even remember the MC's name, and that's kind of the point, because he's so pathetic.
Yeah.
We'll call him Pathetic Coon. Oh, Pathetic Coon. The whole thing is this. So Pathetic Coon has this crazy dream. I love crazy dreams, so good on this. Has this crazy dream that the world is going to end, and that these heroes have to be assembled in order to save the world, but that one of the heroes will turn on everyone else and will try to destroy the world anyway. And so basically the entire plot is given to you from the very beginning.
Right.
And he's just like, well, that was a dumb dream. I'm going to go on with my pathetic, boring life now. And then the characters from his dream start showing up.
Exactly.
And so you're left like, oh my gosh, okay, he's about to live the dream. And you're like, okay, we've been told what's coming, but is that actually what's going to happen? Because the girl in the center right here, when she shows up, you're all like, this girl is horrible news. There's no way that she's actually going to be a hero. And it's just, and it's fun. I feel like this is a story that's definitely driven by all the other characters other than Pathetic Coon, and Pathetic Coon's just along for the ride.
I found those first few chapters super slow because it was focusing on Pathetic Coon. I was really wishing that we'd get a whole lot more of the other characters in really quickly, so we'd start accelerating the story a bit forward, and you'd have those different interactions. Because when it was just Pathetic Coon, it was it just wasn't moving very fast. It wasn't catching my attention all that well, and it wasn't until the girl shows up that stuff started getting a little bit more interesting, and I felt like it needed more momentum at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely picks up its momentum. By the end, I was just all like, and that's what we like to see. That's the thing. You gotta know this about Lars. Lars loves wacky, ridiculous stories that just go full 110%.
Yes.
And one of the things I like about this, and you can correct me if you feel, or you can say that you might feel otherwise, Scott.
Yeah.
But this story right here does an excellent job of doing what Lady in the Water by M. Night Shyamalan tried to do. Where
Okay.
it was there's this fantastic story that's playing out in the background, and all of these normal people are going to be part of it, but they don't know it yet.
I see.
And and that is a quality of that's a quality in certain storytelling, especially fantasy storytelling, I actually really enjoy. I love it when you can get not just one random person who ends up being the chosen one and they have to learn to become the chosen one, but you
Mm-hmm.
show that multiple people who are just regular Joes suddenly become part of a much larger complicated story and that they all have an important role to play.
Yeah.
I like that in the story. And that's something that that Lucifer that was it yeah,
Lucifer and the
why
Biscuit
am I
Hammer.
getting the name wrong? So Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. I want to say Lucifer's Hammer and the Biscuit. I'm like, that's not right. Yeah, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Lucifer's Biscuit and the Hammer. Yeah, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer definitely has that element.
Right.
And again, if it's a good adaptation, I think that that'll be really awesome. Now then, that's something that speaks to Lars. I don't know if that will speak to many other people. I know there's some people who don't like it.
Yeah.
And multiple characters get pulled into a fantasy. So we'll just see how how the Western audiences react to this
Yeah, we'll
anime
see.
because, as you said, Scott, I think that the Japanese audience is there for this one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, that would be everything that we've got. Which I think it's a pretty good list for this season. I'm looking forward to some of the stuff that's coming out.
Ooh, it's not on the list.
Oh,
It's
what
not
have
on
we
the
missed?
list, and I can forget and I can easily forgive you for not putting this one on here because when I first saw it, I was like, no, no. The maid I recently hired is suspicious.
Oh no, what was that one?
It's got a it's got a big busty dark girl in a maid in a very revealing maid outfit.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm bringing this one up here as just kind of like a little extra treat to be like, yes. Here's the thing: looks like it's supposed to be really raunchy. It's actually like a really sweet, slow burn story
Yeah.
where you think where like you know that the big bussy girl is hitting on the Shota character, which I know is not everyone's cup of tea. Uh, but what makes the story worth it is that it continuously gets reversed. All of her schemes of like flirting with him fall apart in funny ways, and I ended up thinking like, oh, like I thought I was going to hate it. I read nearly the entire manga. I'm like, this is really cute. So we'll see how it does. It's going to get flack. It's going to
Well,
get
yeah.
flack here in the West. But we'll see how it's done.
Nice.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. All right.
That's it for me. Yeah.
Well, we thank everybody for watching with us and kind of going through these different anime. We're excited to see how these anime are going to turn out, and we'll probably see you again for the fall anime as well.
Yeah. And also I'm going to throw this on out there just as a means of creating better, I guess, audience interaction and giving us some stuff to do here on the channel. If while you are watching any of these manga alongside with these manga, if you're watching any of these anime alongside with us, let us know if there's any episode or any anime that you would like us to kind of have a deeper look at,
Yeah.
and we can see about accommodating that request. I think that I personally think that that would be neat if you think that there's anything storytelling wise that'd be really good, or if it's a real dumpster fire and you'd like us to explain why it's a dumpster fire, please let us know.
Yeah. No, that would be super fun. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so
you can find
so
us
we
on
hope
all
you
the
guys
places.
enjoyed the season.
Yeah.
Find us at all the places.
All the places. You can find us on Pinterest, and I don't think we have a LinkedIn yet. But especially you could definitely get a hold of us on our Discord.
Hmm.
You just look up Camille's Harem. That's what we go
Reach
by.
out to us over that
Yeah.
dumpster fire we call Twitter.
Do we still have a Twitter?
We still have a Twitter. I update it every now and then.
Okay. That works.
I'm just waiting for the day when we eventually go back to just sharing cat videos. Then it will be paradise.
That would be paradise. All right. Well, we thank everybody for joining us, and have a good day. Bye, Mom.
Good day, of y'all.
Oh, that's Camille's thing. Sorry, Camille.
Camille will come down like a lightning bolt.
Camille's gonna kill me. Let's do that off camera so nobody sees that. Goodbye.